from France, Laurence Plazenet, Love Alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you write many, many books. I hope so too.
Thank you. Laurence, I know that you have always loved books. Can you tell us how old you were when you first wrote your first novel?
I finished my first novel when I was 5 years old. I couldn't write, and I must thank my grandmother because I dictated the whole novel to my grandmother. It was a very sad story, quite lyrical. The only change with the work I'm doing now is it was a story of a little pink pig. I'm not writing about pigs anymore.
Very good. Is there anyone else you would like to thank, apart from your grandmother?
A writer is a lonely worker, so there are not so many persons, and nobody knew I was writing this book when I did. But I would like to thank the European Commission and European Union for giving me a chance to be read more and abroad.
Thank you very much, Laurence. The book is set in the early 17th century. How is it that you know so much about that period?
First of all, because it's a period I've always very much liked. I liked its authors, first of all. I used to read them when I was very young, and I loved them to the point that I made a PhD on 17th century literature in France and England, and I used to be a professor at the Sorbonne and teaching French 17th century literature. Pressure was so big that actually, though I had written since I was a child, I stopped writing for 10 years between my 20s and 30s because I thought I had nothing to say and it was quite empty and meaningless. When I resumed, I think that at that point I really knew what I wanted to do, and it was thriving, maybe more than pressure.
Is there a little part of you in this character? In the lead
never
character?
answer to that question, never.
Come on.
And I won't do it today, even in Brussels.
So I'll assume that's a yes.
No, that doesn't.
In this story, there is a relationship between the young girl and her tutor, who is a much older man, and a very obvious assumption would be that there is a parallel with Lolita, but that's not the case. Is that correct?
No, Lolita, I think, is a wrong reference because it's clearly a way of viewing a young adolescent dating from 20th century. I was rather writing, remembering stories like Héloïse and Abélard or Paolo and Francesca in Dante book. So some sort of myths, and part of the challenge was to write again these stories and find something new into them.
Has it been difficult to balance writing a book for a modern audience but set in a period which is a long time ago? How did you achieve that balance?
Well, I think it's not that difficult. In fact, as long as you are living during the 20th century, you question your own time, your own period. And I tend to think that if you make a detour and you write about 17th century persons, on the contrary, you learn about yourself and you are more able to say interesting and true things than if you speak of your own times. You may be blind. Your nose is too close to the window to see really something true. I hope to have some translation. I'm writing a classical and literary French, and it's not a language so much translated today, so that I would like to be able to be read abroad, obviously. It's also very important for me because as I am working in academia, sometimes it's difficult to ascertain that I'm also a writer and that fiction is a main part of my life. And having the honor to receive such a prize is a way to remember everyone that I'm not only a professor, but also, I hope, a creator.